And welcome in to In-Game Chat for Saturday, June 3rd, 2023, Season 17, Episode 18. I'm Scott.
And I'm RJ.
Welcome into the show. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 272-9228, 334-272-9228. But if you can reach us on Discord, that's running right now as well. You can check out ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us, including that phone number again, or the link to our Discord where you can get in and talk to us if you'd like to do that. You can find us on Twitter at InGameChat. You can also find us on Facebook as well. You can email us, everyone, at ingamechat.net. We're streaming right now on Twitch. You can jump in there and talk to us live while we do the show as well. And just while we're doing the broadcast, just enjoying it. Been away for 2 weeks, but we're back now, and we go ahead and do the broken clapper thing. I'll put this up just for reference of where we are.
We're gonna have that fixed by next week
in our episodes, and then I'll do this thing. Maybe there we go. There. It broke, but it works. So yeah, really, I just need that sound. That is all I need. Because it shows up. It shows up on the audio thing as a little, and I could match it with the video, and that's where I hit the thing. So we already have a call in, so I might as well run to it and get to it. Hi, who's this? You're on the air.
It's me, Chris.
Hey, Chris, what's going on?
Did I sound better this time around?
You do, actually, yeah.
I wonder if it's the new service provider. We said goodbye to AT&T landline service for almost close to $90 a month that my dad was paying, and we went nationwide with Mexico and Canada through our internet company, our power company that provides internet. Oh, well, it does sound good. So we got rid of that, and for a fifth of what he was paying for AT&T.
Nice.
$20 a month, no fees, no contract.
Goodness.
So we just got that hooked up on Friday morning, and took me and then started forever to figure out what was going on. The old phone line where we were making the connection from the internet side of the modem and port from their side was rusted and then broke and everything, and it wasn't making a good connection, and that was what was causing a big issue. We were scratching our heads for a good 2 hours trying to figure that sucker out. So luckily I had a new phone jack that I remember way back in the in the kitchen somewhere, and we grabbed it and installed it, and it worked perfectly from then on. It made a good connection.
Okay. So we won't be hearing any more warbly, warped sound effects from your line anymore, right?
Maybe. We'll see.
We can only hope so. Especially if you got a good deal like that.
Yeah. When I saw how much he was paying AT&T, I said, nope, I'll take over the phone bill. I'll put it on my internet bill, and we'll have nationwide calling plus.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of AT&T, Scott, you had the what was the service you recently upgraded to?
We got fiber.
Fiber, yeah. Okay.
It finally got into the neighborhood, and we upgraded to fiber, and it's nice.
A significant difference from.
Oh man, you wouldn't believe it. I've talked about it before, but the video that we do.
How fast is your option that you have?
How fast is the option?
That you've got subscribed to.
Well, we've got fiber, which is what is it like? I don't know.
It's close to business class.
I mean, I don't know how many. It's massively fast. I'm getting like, I don't know, 800 or 900 down.
About 800 or 900 megabits a second.
Yeah, down, and then about that going up as well.
Yeah, that's the options that they have for out here. We have fiber too, and they have offers like 200, 500 and a gig, and I had the 500, but 200 was still good enough for me, so I dropped my speed, and which was the same difference for taking it down and then adding the phone service for the same price. So I'm paying the same price, but I just reduced it to 200 megabits a second. So
yeah, we're doing the gig. It's it's really good.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's great because the video of this video of the show usually takes about an hour and a half to upload on my old one. That was when I was getting 10 up.
Yeah.
And I was getting like 100 down, 10 up on the old plan. And Now this thing takes 20 seconds to upload. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a gig, I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
I was expecting you to say 20 minutes. From 90 minutes to 20 minutes.
Seriously, it takes... I go in there and do it. I hit the upload button. And of course, when I do that, it gives me all these options of like, hey, you want to, while it's uploading, you want to title the show and you want to do all this stuff and blah. By the time I get done titling the show and putting in the thumbnail that we use, it's already in the processing mode. It's already uploaded. Mm-hmm. Or it only has like 10 seconds left. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's fast.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Now I'm hoping the same thing's happening in my neck of the woods, because I've seen a lot of trench diggers and bulldozers in the area, and they got those big spools, and there's wires going down to the ground. In the
I was about to say, are the wires in your neighborhood? They all underground? They're
going underground. They're making trenches.
Oh, they're going to do it underground.
Yeah, they're making in there.
See, my neighborhood still has it all exposed to the elements and outside and everything.
Yeah,
so.
It's all exposed out here too. But they're making headway and putting these cables into the ground.
I don't think there's any movement or any possibility of that changing in my neighborhood anytime soon. Mm-hmm. I have not heard anything about that, seen anything, and regardless of how far out you go in the neighborhood in any sort of direction, there's no sign that it is ever being done or going to be. So I imagine it'll get there at some point. Yeah. But anyway,
so I'm going to be looking into that whenever I get a chance. Yeah,
Chris, I would say, what have you been playing? But I already know. I'm almost positive.
Well, I just didn't pre-order it, but in a couple of days.
Oh, you didn't pre-order it? I thought you did.
Now I figured I was going to just get me a physical copy and just install it. I could just wait till Tuesday afternoon. I know it wasn't going to bother me that much, but it did. Tim, that works at the retro game store, where the one that Rustin owns, that y'all used to do some ads for. That's the independent one.
Yeah.
I've had him convinced and stuff, but he called up the GameStop and said since they were doing an early release on Monday afternoon where he could pick it up then, he found out that he went ahead and pre-ordered it, so he's going to jump in as soon as he can on Monday afternoon, and I'm going to pick mine up. But I'll start playing that afternoon or the next day, depending on if it'll allow us to or not. But yeah, I'm going to just wait till Tuesday. All
right. Well, then what have you been playing until then?
I picked up a $4 game on sale on the PlayStation Network. I think it was Arcania Gothic 4 that released years ago, I think in 2015, but I found a cheap copy of it and its DLC, and I just finished it up in time for Diablo to come out in a couple of days. So that's what I've been playing in the meantime, since the last week or so.
Yeah, not ringing a bell. For me, anyway, not ringing a bell.
Yeah, it looked like a fun old role-playing game. It was simple but fun. And
are you familiar with it, Art?
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
I wasn't familiar with it either, but it was only like $4, and it was to complete everything that came with it, plus the expansion. And yeah, it was worth $4.
No, you see things like that all the time. Steam, PlayStation Networks, an old title that you never got the chance to play, and now it's like $4. I mean, if it's bad, you're not going to lose much. It's $4,
right?
So
I mean, that's a lot of the way I look at Steam games whenever they're on sale. Yeah. Oh, it's $3. I'll do that. It's $5 or whatever it is. Worth a shot if I feel like it. Sometimes I look at it in $5 and I'm like, I could go lower.
Yeah. How much was Vampire Survivors?
Vampire Survivors was $3 and some change when I got it.
Yeah, so $3.
And I think right now, it's $4 and some change or $5.
Yeah,
might be $5.
Yeah, but you spent $3 and found a gold mine.
Oh no, it's great. So, yeah, I haven't gone back to it in a while, but yeah, it's great. It's a fantastic game. Yeah. So. Well, all right, man. You're going to enjoy some Diablo come Tuesday, and with a lot of other people as well. Yeah,
I'm going to be hooked on it like I was before when I was playing the betas before when they were releasing those to the public. So yeah. Mm-hmm. And I've stood away completely from the storyline. I didn't do nothing except for get to the opening where you could explore freely, and that's where I stopped the main story. So it would be a complete surprise and something fresh and neat to go through with no knowledge of it whatsoever.
Yeah. All right, man. We'll hear from you next week to tell us all about
it. Yeah, I'll be playing it every day and night till probably 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh no, I know. I was looking at my friends list on, and I'll mention this when we go off the air here. But thanks for calling in, Chris.
I'll see y'all later, then.
Take care, man.
Take care now.
And the only reason, because I was about to go long-winded, which is why I was kind of closing the conversation with Chris. watching reviews for the game and a couple of different reviews for the game and seeing the game and play again, the bug was biting. The itch was beginning. You know what I'm saying? That little thing like, oh man, I need to scratch that real bad. I really do. So I'm curious as to like, okay, what's the price of the game? So I go on my phone, I just type in the thing and it's like, hey, pre-purchase, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't give me a price when I try to buy it through Battle.net or whatever. Because it wants me to log in, and I thought, oh, I'll deal with this later. Anyway, I'm on my PC last night and I do it. And, apparently my password's the same because my browser remembered what the password was. But as soon as I get in there, it's like, hey, we've sent a thing to your authenticator. And I was like, oh man, I forgot about the authenticator. I wonder if that thing still works. So I open up the authenticator on my phone. It says, hey, we have a new thing now. We've moved everything over here. You need to download this. So I download that. And it wants me to log in. I'm like, oh, God, okay. So I log in through the app. The app opens up the browser. The browser still remembers my password, which is good. I log into it through there. It sends a code to it says, thanks for logging in. We've sent a code to your authenticator. It's like, no, I'm trying to log into the authenticator. So I did what I had to do in order. It was some hoop jumping, and finally got around to it. Got the authenticator app on the phone, which is basically it's the authenticator. It is the chat. It's your friends list. And I'm looking at it now, by the way.
This is an all-in-one type thing now?
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Okay. And I'm looking. This is the first time last night was the first time I had logged into Battle.net since Destiny had left the Activision Blizzard team or whatever and gone over to Steam.
Yeah, so it's been a minute.
Yeah, because I had no need for it. I got rid of it. You know, I was like, I don't need it. I had for whatever reason I had money in my wallet on that thing.
Yeah.
Back when Destiny was moving, and in fact, I had credits in there, and I didn't have. I was short by just a little bit to spend as much as I could and not have a bunch left over.
Right.
So I bought some in-game currency thing or whatever it was that I needed to do whatever it was I needed to do. This is going back. I can't remember. There's still 55 cents in my account on this thing. But yeah, it was weird. I came back and then, you can favorite your friends and stuff. So like Matt's on there, but it says he's been away for 10 months. Which he's in Discord right now.
Yeah.
But James is there playing Diablo. Nate is there playing Diablo 4. Both of them playing Diablo 4. And then I got other people that are just playing Diablo 4 there. Because obviously if you pre-ordered it, you got, or if you pre-ordered the deluxe or ultimate edition, you can play now before the release.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a typical thing now. The pre-order, you get a early access bonus thing or early access thing going on now.
Yeah, you get to play. Well, Street Fighter 6, I think, has something like that, doesn't it?
Betas and everything like that, but there was some pre-order bonus, but I didn't get there because, well, that's a later story when we mentioned what we played. But
yeah. Final Fantasy 16, I think, is doing the same thing. Yeah. You'll get to play that early. So yeah, that, looking at it, oh man, it looks great. I keep reading reviews and I keep reading impressions and I keep reading about how really well this launch is for a Diablo game.
The hype is building.
I mean, it really is. It is. And Wendy and I watched a lot of it last night. Cause we watched the opening cinematic and she's all like, oh, you're going to play this, right? And I was like, well, don't, Blizzard can do some really good cinematics. Don't get fooled.
Yeah.
Let me show you what the gameplay looks like first. Cause she was showing some actual genuine interest in maybe, sitting there playing and like she could get into it. And it's very possible she could. If I do end up getting the game, and I don't know that I am, but if I do end up getting the game, I'm going to have her sit down in front of it and be like, hey, this is how it plays. You feel good with this? Because if she does, get her own copy and then, she'd be in her room playing. I'll be in my room playing. We'll play together and run some dungeons and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's $70 retail, and I can't remember. I think the digital deluxe edition is like 80, and then the ultimate deluxe is like 100.
What's the tier norm is like the first is regular price, the second price is probably $25 to $30 more. Then the other one is like some really, really big price, especially if it's like collector's edition. At least that's the way it was for Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
Standard price was standard price for the original, and then I think it was $85 for the mid tier, which included the season pass and some other knickknacks here and there, DLC things like that.
Yeah.
And then you had the ultimate.
It's
it's
the same thing here. You get to if you do the digital or the $100 version, you get to play early. The other difference is, I think, the $100 edition comes with an emote, I think, and maybe some sort of mount thing. And then the other part of it that it doesn't come, that is only exclusive to that, is you get a fast track on your seasonal pass thing. In other words, you level up quicker.
Oh, okay.
For the first 20 levels, you level up faster.
Level boosting. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a level boost. That's all it is. Yeah. Not really a big deal for the amount of time you put into that game.
Yeah,
you'll get there just as quick as anybody else will, and getting there faster doesn't really mean anything. So, but yeah, I did looking over it. I looked over it, and I mentioned that to the guys in the Destiny group, because they're looking. There's a few of them looking at it as well, and. I was reminded, not that I had forgotten, but I was reminded at what kind of a company Activision Blizzard is, and the stuff that we were talking about at least most of last year or the year prior, with what with their shenanigans going on. So, will it make it easier? Will it be a game that I play if they get bought by Microsoft? Likely, because it'll be free. I would imagine it would be part of Game Pass. At that point. So sure. And you would still have to pay maybe for like the digital deluxe or the seasonal pass or whatever the case may be. You'd be putting more money into it, but yeah, I don't know. It kind of justified it for me saying, first off, I don't need to be spending the $70 on the game right now. And then secondly, I also don't need to be supporting a company like that. So with what they did, not that I have any thing against anybody who plays the game for whatever reason they play the game. It's perfectly fine. You want to play Diablo 4, you go right ahead and play Diablo 4. It doesn't change my opinion on anybody who decides to play the game in that regard. So, but yeah.
I see what Thor says in the chat room. He says it's not a 10-hour game, but you can play it for years with all the season all the stuff they add in there, so it's well worth the $70.
Yeah, no, I know. It's not necessarily a situation where you're playing that to run through the story. You've got many different, 5 classes, I think, that you can pick from, 4 or 5. 5 different classes you can pick from, and you can run through the entire campaign with those characters. And then once you're done, there's in-game content to continue to increase your abilities and everything else. I mean, it is a continuation. And the interesting thing is, especially when you compare the launch of Diablo 3 to Diablo 4, and you got to go way back to make that comparison. Diablo 3 out of the gate was nothing like what Diablo 3 was 2 years, 3 years, 5 years after it. It was the Diablo 3 that launched was nothing like the Diablo 3 that was here just a year ago. They had done a number of improvements. In fact, when it launched, there was no in-game content. The in-game content came later.
Yeah.
With a store upheaval, they did a complete revitalization on the in-game store and the in-game economy type of thing with money and stuff. They completely redid all that long after I had stopped playing.
May of 2012, it says Diablo 3 was released.
Exactly.
We talking a No Man's Sky type of deal? It started out.
No.
It was
something
they just kept improving on.
It was known ahead of time as to what we were getting whenever it launched. Now, we didn't know how bad the store was until people were showing the problems with it. And I can't remember what the problems were, but when they revamped it, it was really, really. I wasn't playing at the time, but I was still following the news on things, and it was much different and well received for those changes. And I just sort of, I remember when it happened, I was like, man, if I was still playing, that'd mean something to me, but it didn't. So yeah, Thar66 says D3 is up to season 28 now. Just to compare, Destiny is in season 21, or 22 maybe. So yeah. But the Diablo 4 launch, it comes with in-game content's already there. There's been plenty of bug fixes. This launch has been smooth for the most part that I've read. The launch has been smooth, which is more than what Diablo 3 was as far as connection issues and other things like that were going on with it.
Can't say that for a lot of games that released earlier this year.
Not out of the gate, and it's surprising to see from a company like Activision Blizzard, only for the fact that a big game like Diablo or a COD usually releases with some kind of bugs or some kind of issues, but and especially on a game like what Diablo 4 is, to have it come out of the gate pretty much ready to go. I still look at it. I'm like, man, I kind of want to play it, but I imagine that I will get around to it. And my thinking was, this was before I'd ever decided that no, I'm not going to do it, or before I had just contemplating, because Wendy asked me, like, where would you play that? And I said I would play it on PC. Mainly because of the controls, but we were watching some gameplay video, and apparently, and now the gameplay video we were watching could have been on PC, but dude was using a controller. Because the prompts on the screen were Xbox button controllers. So he was either playing on an Xbox or he was playing on a PC with an Xbox controller. And it looked intuitive. It looked, like that's something you could probably do on a controller. And that reminded me that I thought I had a copy of Diablo 3 for my Switch. And so suddenly she and I are looking around for it and can't find it. I don't know where it's at. I don't remember turning the thing in when I did that mass return of all those things to get my credits.
So you got the four digit return value. Yeah.
And it's just really weird that I can't find my copy of Diablo 3 for the Switch.
It's not in the system.
It wasn't in it's definitely not in the system. I think Animal Crossing lives there. But it's not in the system. It's not in my my Switch case.
And you can't recall turning it in.
I don't remember turning it in.
You didn't let anyone borrow it or anything like that.
I don't think I did, but I may have. If I did, I think it would be Matt. But I don't feel like Matt's pretty good about returning those things to me, so I don't feel like
you may have set it down somewhere and just can't get hold of it.
I don't know. I was looking. I know I had the box. That was one.
Check your bookshelf where your movies are at.
I will, but I mean, I found a stack of Switch games, and it was not among them. My old boxes and stuff, which I would go through there and look for those, but I'd look in those to see if.
It's just, I'm saying it's out of the box and laying bare somewhere. Check your bookshelf.
See, that's the thing. I never played it.
No one played it? You or Wendy?
No, none of us ever played it.
Okay.
I remember buying it because I was coming back from, this was Thanksgiving. I was coming back and I had heard that Walmarts were selling it if you go and ask. It was supposed to release the next week, but it was.
Oh yeah, because Walmart's bad about releasing.
Right.
It. Yeah.
It was available at Walmart and it was also available at a Black Friday price. So on the way back from Thanksgiving, I stopped at the Millbrook Walmart because it was the first one you come to.
Yeah.
And I went inside there and was able to buy it. I specifically remember that because I was like, oh, wow, it worked. Something I heard on the internet worked. That's a rare occurrence, to be honest with you, when it's talking about a sale and stuff. Lethal Migraine says, why didn't you just have Wendy play the beta so she could see you liked it for free? At the time, I didn't know she was interested in it during the beta. I don't. We never looked at the game during the beta. We never looked at it. I was not paying attention to it during the beta. I had looked at some pre-reviews type things, some previews of the game, but really only getting the gist of, hey, it's really great. Let's hope it stays this way, come release date. Kind of like I've done with Final Fantasy. A lot of people played most of what the demo is going to be whenever it releases, and which is like a 4-hour demo. And I really haven't deep dived on that. I'm just like, okay, I'll play it when the demo comes out. Diablo wasn't something that I thought I should play during the free beta because I know what Diablo is. It didn't feel like it was something I needed to play. I also really, the bug hadn't hit me to want to play it at all until the zeitgeist is happening where all these other people are playing it. It's all around me. Diablo, 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 everywhere. So yeah, that's my Diablo story. Is that I'm nowhere closer to playing it or not playing it or anything like that. So I don't know.
But your interest is piqued.
The interest is there, because I remember having a lot of fun with 3 when we played it together, and there's a lot of people to play with now on there. Not that for the most part we'd all be playing our own little solo stuff and just grouping up when we can, but yeah. And then there's the other game that I play, which is Destiny. I know I put more time into that than I would in Diablo, and so it's like, what do you want to do? Especially if you're buying it on PC. How am I going to sit at my PC and not play Destiny? And I know that sounds like a silly question to a lot of you, especially those of you that game. That's a silly, stupid thing to say. Because, well, you just don't play Destiny. You play what you want to play. But that's my point. I sit down in front of that PC, and if I do play Diablo, I'm going to be thinking about playing Destiny and making progress with what I need to make progress in. So, I don't know. It's conflicting, which may support the idea of playing it on console. My thought was playing it on PC first because, number one, the controls is what I'm used to. Although after seeing it played with a controller, I think it's going to be fine. The other thought was when Activision Blizzard gets bought by Microsoft, and I really feel like that's more of a win than an if. It looks more and more likely that it's going to happen, but we'll know about that more closer to the end of the summer. It's going to be available on Game Pass. Game Pass on my console, I have no problem with. Game Pass on my PC requires me to download the Microsoft Games thing, which has not been the best of situations. So getting on PC would already get me in that environment. Then I could play it on my Xbox whenever. If I play it on my Xbox now, getting it on my PC is likely not going to happen. And if I got to go through Microsoft Games thing, which I probably would have to do after the sale anyway, maybe. I don't know what they're going to do about that. That's a good ways away from when that's going to happen. Because even if everything's done this summer and everything's approved, the sale likely doesn't go through until probably another year after that or something. Then you might start seeing the game start to trickle in. So it's going to be a while regardless. And that's not counting delays that they may run into, Microsoft in buying them. So it's a ways out. But yeah, so we didn't even talk about what I've been playing or what you've been playing. It's been 2 weeks or whatever like that. We just jumped into the Diablo talk, didn't we? Yep. Tell you what, we'll go to a break. When we come back, we'll find out what RJ's been playing. There's no point in going over what I've been playing. You know what I've been playing. But yeah, we'll talk about that coming up. Here is music from a game called After Us. Looks like it's called Equal Temper of Heroic Heart. Interesting name. We'll be right back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. And welcome back into in-game chat. Music there from Warhammer 40k, Bolt Gun. That track is called Ultra Blueberry Jam. Bolt Gun looks like dumb fun, maybe. I'm not exactly sure. It's not like amazing graphics or anything, and it's a first-person shooter, and it's in the Warhammer 40k universe.
Oh, okay. A little side story.
I saw a lot of people playing it, obviously, before the Diablo wave hit. Exactly. Drunk Degenerate says, Bolt Gun looks like a fun Doom shooter. Yeah, it's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the Warhammer universe, but nothing about it sounds like, story-wise, like
Right.
fun. So I hear this track, I'm like, wait, this doesn't sound like something that belongs in a ominous, dark.
Yeah, it's kind of a
military
one-off
action
thing
game.
they did,
Yeah,
and you know, it's being received quite well from the Warhammer 40k folks.
A break from the monotony.
Maybe, I guess. I don't know. I'm not in that universe, so I don't know.
Okay.
Tough to say.
Yeah.
You know, I've been playing Destiny. What have you been playing for the past 2 weeks?
MLB 23 the show. I'm trying to figure out split up time between Road to the Show and actually playing a season.
Yeah.
With the Brewers and going through that. Unfortunately, I don't see anything like a season play. It used to be a time when you could just pick a season and go through there. Maybe I'm missing the option or whatever, but I see franchise. So you play as a GM and manage all the contracts and injury management and things like that, and go from there. There's a little more micromanaging in there. It involves in just a plain season. Just pick your team and go.
Yeah.
You have to go through other little things like that as well. So I wasn't used to the micromanaging aspect of it, but it's nothing that wasn't too difficult. Besides, I always had the option to let the computer manage all that. There's an option. There are 3 separate options you have to pick from, like injury management, roster control, and contracts. Now, contracts, I just let the computer handle that. I don't want to deal with negotiating contracts.
Really? You don't want to do paperwork or anything like that? Yeah.
No, I want to. Look, I got enough difficulty hitting the ball. Okay.
See, I like that. I would like that sort of stuff. The whole manager sim type thing that they do.
Yeah, maybe you want to get into that soccer game, Football Manager.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Maybe. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But
I'll see it another.
Out of stuff like that would totally interest me.
I was trying to think offhand if there's that level of type of game for the other sports. Probably is. If there is,
There's a base. There used to be all sports type of manager things. There was a baseball manager, football manager. Football being,
soccer.
English football.
Yeah, soccer. Yeah.
There was rugby management. There was, there was a bunch. There was a bunch of those little managing team things for a while. I think they've all
overseas though.
Yeah, I think they've all become now just the football manager thing. Okay. I don't, but I swear I thought there was another one. I mean,
there probably is. It's just like it's not coming to mind right now because it's not a genre I really want to get into.
I never got into it either, but the signing contracts and that sort of thing, like it almost falls into my city builder stuff. Like, hey, you've got this much money now, go out there and try and pick your best players and get them with a contract, that sort of thing. That would be. I would like that.
Yeah. So I was doing all that and still hitting practice mode a lot more often than normal. Trying to get used to certain pitches and where they go and how they move, so I can recognize and see what's coming, so I know how to prep for it instead of like trying to decide at the last possible second. Because I'm playing at veterans difficulty right now, which is I guess a start at the start. But you got All-Star, Legend, Hall of Fame, those levels, and in the higher levels of online play.
So veteran is what, regular?
Normal, veteran's normal. Minors, amateur, beginner. Yeah, minors, amateur, beginner, veteran.
Okay.
All-Star, Legend, Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Hall of Fame is the highest difficulty. Yeah, and it gets when it gets up there. In those higher level online competitions, some people like insist you got to play on All-Star, you got to play on Legend or Hall of Fame. But and the difficulty I'm having on Veteran, I'm going to stay there for the time being until I get better at the game. But or I could set the dynamic difficulty on there, which will automatically change your difficulty as you're playing. So the better you do, the more the difficulty ramps up till it can't go any higher. So yeah, you can do that if you want to. But for the time being, I'm going to spend a lot of time in practice mode, learning how to hit the ball better than I am now.
Yeah.
Because where I'm at now, it's not doing too well. So unless I drop the difficulty down, I really don't want to do that. But it's neither here nor there. Other than that, I did play Street Fighter 6. Picked that up on launch day. Unfortunately, the date snuck up on me because I didn't realize, June 2nd, Street Fighter 6 is going to come out. And I didn't make the preparations that I normally do, so I just picked it up spur of the moment on the fly.
Oh, okay.
So I did all that and had to set up a Capcom ID, which is the third time I had to set something up through Capcom for the online aspect of their game. So, all right, so I got a Capcom account. I got a Capcom some other account I did for Resident Evil. Then I got one now I have to do one for Capcom ID that spans across all consoles and Steam.
So the game came out Friday?
Yeah, came out this Friday, June 2nd.
Good God.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a single thing about it. Every review thing or everything that I've read has not been talking about Street Fighter 6. They've been talking about Diablo.
Yeah. I know, but
I didn't even see reviews and stuff, man. Nothing. Yeah.
Well, from what I'm hearing,
I'm sure they're out there, but
yeah, from what I'm hearing from friends of mine, they're having a good time with it right now. But I've been playing a lot of the World Tour mode, just the story element, the going around and meeting all the characters and gathering their moves and making a compilation of all their techniques and talents into your character.
Yeah.
And then you meet them online with other players like that. I haven't got too far into it yet, but it's taking a lot of time. It's going to be a long, drawn out experience with that. But I know I have to go through the game itself to learn the system and how well I can implement it, because there's the drive system, a new drive system that they've implemented. Parrying has come back, as well as strong moves that can counter all others in the game. So it's basically it's the same as it's always been. Use the tools to the best of your ability to get what you want. So right now we're all learning techniques, tips, and strategies, trying to get where we want to be in the game. And some folks had an advantage because some played the beta, got a lot of info from there. And then there's YouTube videos all over the place showing off techniques and whatnot with certain characters and everything. So it's just a little bit of catch up right now. So for the time being, I'm just gathering up friends, putting them online, and getting them on my list so I can follow them, see what they're doing, and we can get together and do our own thing and see where we can improve and get better. So yeah, those two that's pretty much what I've been playing. I didn't forget. I take a little nostalgic taste. I went and played Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 again.
Okay.
So I'm playing that again, seeing how far my numbers have dropped since the last time.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
It's like you're ranked 1,900 on this thing. I hit update. Now you're ranked 5,260 somewhere, because it's a constant struggle with people trying to beat their score over and over again. Yeah. So yeah.
I forgot to update though. While I have been playing Destiny, that Sunday after the show,
yeah,
I made a solo attempt on that dungeon.
And did it go well?
I mean, it could have gone better, but I got it done. It wasn't flawless. So, I mean, I died, but I got it done.
Irrelevant, you did it.
Yeah, I got the solo completion done on that dungeon. Mm-hmm. And I don't ever have to worry about it again, as far as I know. Even if I do have to worry about it again.
No, you're good.
I don't think I'm ever going to do it again.
No, you're good. You did it. You did it one time.
I did it. And I'm really glad I did, because the new one launched last weekend. The new one launched last Friday, which if I had waited, then this new one would have been the one I would have had to have done the clear on in order to get my final rank. I don't have to now because I did it with the other one.
Yeah.
And the other one's base level was 1660. And I was 1830. Mm-hmm. So staying alive was not too hard. It was more about getting the mechanics done and surviving the boss fights. was the main problem. We're surviving the boss fights. Getting up to the final boss was not a problem, but boy, it took 5 hours and something minutes to do that thing.
Yeah.
That was a slog. But it got done. And, yeah. And then the new season launched on Tuesday.
Yeah,
not this past Tuesday, Tuesday previous.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've been in situations like that where it was the inverse of that. It's like the problem isn't the boss, it's just getting there. I've been in games like that before, but in this case situation, it was yours is getting there. The problem is just dealing with
right, because you cannot
boss,
any point in between boss fights, you can die wherever, and you're just like boom, you're back at some point in that little thing. Just keep going.
Right.
Once you're in a boss fight, and there's two of them in that dungeon. Once you're in a boss fight, if you die in it, you start all the way over from that fight. You don't get revived and the boss has like half health or something like that. No, the boss goes back to full health and you have to start the encounter over again.
So it's like Cromorax in Borderlands. So I remember that situation. Me and a bunch of friends, I pretty much boss at the end. As long as one person is alive in the boss's room, you can respawn near the boss, and you can still keep working together to take him out. But if everyone dies,
yeah, it's a wipe.
It's a wipe. Yeah, you have to start over from scratch.
That's the same thing. That's the same thing in Destiny. But you're running solo, so it's only you.
Yeah,
you die.
That's it.
Got to start over.
Yep.
You don't have to start the entire dungeon over. You just have to start that boss fight over, and that is the issue. I got the mid boss. I was fine with. It took a while to get him down because he's got so much health, and it's just you shooting him during your damage phases. So, it's just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. I didn't have a problem staying alive. There were a few times when I got a little nervous because the whole thing is on an elevated platform, and if you fall off and can't get back to ground, you'll die. So I didn't have that problem. I didn't have that problem on that fight. The next fight, the last boss, there's no real problem of falling through the floor. It's just there's a ton of enemies in an enclosed space, and it includes enemies that explode when they get close to you.
I was about to ask if you had those fallen with the glowing heads. Are they involved in as well?
Nah, these are all Vex.
Vex? Okay.
Yeah. And so these are the harpies.
Harpies?
Yeah, the ones that they fly around. They float.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And then they kind of, it's like that dinosaur in Jurassic Park. They expose,
Oh yeah, the frills come out. Yeah.
They come out and then they shoot at you. A little beam of void. Well, no, these are exploding harpies. So when they see you, they come right towards you and then blow up. So you have to be careful. You really, really got to be careful with those. I could take one explosion, but that was about it. And the fact is they group up. So, they all go there. And when one blows up, the other one's going to blow up because it triggers a chain reaction. And so, it can be very difficult. So I get to the final boss and I'm doing okay. I get him halfway down and at some point I die. I'm like, I got to start the fight over. So I start the fight over. I don't die on that second try. It just takes forever. There'll be parts where I've missed the damage phase, or where I didn't get where I needed to be in time to start the damage phase. So it's like, oh, got to do it again. And do it again. So
you're playing as a hunter. Okay, so that's the fastest.
He's a fast guy, and he goes invis. So that's what I had on my side, was going invisible, and there was some there's a loadout where if I kill somebody who's affected by void with a void weapon, I'll get an overshield, and so that was helpful. And I'll also go invis. So I would get an overshield and go invis, which was good. That was always good. To go invis was really good. But the minute you attack, throw a bomb, shoot your weapon, you come out of invisibility. You can't stay invis while you're fighting.
Almost pointless.
No. It's helpful. It lets you get to cover. It lets you get somewhere safe. Because I was, I had smoke. I just throw smoke down. I become invis, and I could get to a safe point. It was extremely helpful to do that. Anytime I would use my dodge ability or my smoke ability, I would go invis.
Okay.
Anytime I finished an opponent, do one of the finisher things that you can do, I would go invis. So I had multiple ways to get out of line of sight or get out of the crowd or whatever I needed to do to kind of get to safety. Not that helped because, I still died halfway through on the first run. On the second one, I got it done.
So it's always been purely a defensive measure.
For that, yes. It's also support because if I had people there with me, I would be making them invisible too. So when I run some of my Grandmasters with other people, I'll usually run that, although the Strand class that we have now is almost too good to pass up in the Grandmasters because you have grenades that shackle the enemies up. So when you're going against champs, you can just throw a grenade out there and it'll shackle them, it'll restrain them. And it kind of gives you some breathing room. And a hunter gets 2 of those grenades on top of each other. So, I can throw a grenade and then I've got another one handy ready to go. Anytime I make precision hits, even if they're not kills, if I'm just hitting precision hits, I get grenade energy. Due to whatever the build was that I had. I don't remember, but anyway. So yeah, new season launched. I'm enjoying it very much. And the new dungeon launched. That was really cool. I don't want to spoil anybody, but getting to the last boss room of the new dungeon called Ghosts of the Deep. It takes place on Titan. But when you enter that room and it suddenly hits you what you're seeing, it's a really great feeling. It's really, really cool. I guess the callback, I should really read the lore. I really haven't been paying attention to it, but I should really read the lore of that dungeon because it's not the boss that you fight at the end. It is the location you're at and what is in the room with you. I really don't want to spoil it. I know it's something that you're likely never going to get to or get around to getting to. So maybe off air I'll tell you because we're coming up. In fact, we're coming up here on a break. Anyway, done talking about Destiny that I have been involved in. Not done talking about Destiny as a whole because we have the Sony PlayStation Showcase to talk about. We have the VR, I hate calling it the metaverse. We have the VR Oculus thing, the MetaQuest thing. We have the VR Showcase to talk about as well. There's that. There's not much to talk about in that VR Showcase, but there's 2 things that I definitely want to hit on from that VR Showcase. And we'll do that coming up next hour, along with that Sony PlayStation Showcase as well. It's all ahead next here on In-Game Chat. Music right now from Horizon Burning Shores, the new DLC that was released for Horizon Forbidden West. This is called Steel Snare. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat after this. And welcome back into In-Game Chat. This is music from a game that I'm interested in and will eventually get around to playing, but it is Firmament, which is the game by Cyan Worlds, the makers of Myst, Abduction. This is their new title, Firmament. Or music from it. The track is called Processing. So I'll eventually get around to that. All right, let's talk about Sony and their state of play thing. I say state of play. It was a showcase. It was the PlayStation showcase thing. Really focusing on it was basically their little E3 thing. We'll get, and for everything that they showed, very, very little of it was exclusive to Sony. Now, there were first-party titles that were released, or at least announced, but a lot of them, with the exception of, I believe, Spider-Man 2, a lot of them fall into a live service category or a VR category. There was a game called Fair Games, and I can't remember the name of the developer who is making that, but it looked a lot like a Payday PvP type thing. You remember Payday? Yeah. Payday I love, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to Payday 3 whenever they get around to it. I enjoyed 2, but I'm really looking forward to 3 for whenever that happens. Fair Games kind of looked like that. It was nothing but it was just a CG thing. You didn't get any gameplay, but it looked like both of you had, both teams had a bank job or a heist job, and you had to compete against the other team for the winnings of it, I guess. It wasn't exactly clear. So then we got to look at Helldivers 2. That I want to say is part of Sony's live service as well. Live service games. It'll be out for PS5 and PC. This is not a top-down shooter like the original game, though. It is going to be a third-person type shooter, which is fine. Helldivers, I remember that game. I never played it, but I do remember it. But it was a top-down type of shooter type of thing, kind of like a Halo Wars or whatever. Yeah. Or what is the other one? StarCraft, I think. But, yeah, so Helldivers 2 coming out next year. I got a game called Immortals of Avium, which is from EA. It was like a first-person wizard shooter thing. Like, you didn't have guns, you had spells, but it moved at a really fast pace. I wasn't really on... It was not... didn't pull me in on that. Right. I don't know why, but it just... I don't know. I'd like to see more of it. These are things that, never mind. This is coming out July 20th. So I likely will see more, and in my opinion, probably will not change. Not for me, is what I'm saying on that one. Oh, then we got Ghost Runner 2. There was a new trailer for that. That looked really cool. I have not played Ghost Runner. I have Ghost Runner. I have heard good things about Ghost Runner, but I have not played Ghost Runner 2. Looks really, really cool, though. It's coming out this year sometime. Did you watch any of this, by the way?
No, I saw the notice pop up on my notifications, but I was playing Street Fighter 6 at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You should check out Phantom Blade Zero. Find the trailer for Phantom Blade Zero. It's a third-person... Yeah, I know. Third-person action gameplay. It looks like a mix of Sekiro and Ghosts of Tsushima. But it's like samurai fighting action type thing. I really, really liked what I saw of it. And of course, seeing that made me think of you anyway. So I'm like, I bet RJ's probably would love this. So, what else do we get? From the people who made Journey, Pathless, and Abzu, we got Sword of the Sea, which looks like you're just surfing on sand with a sword type of thing. It was kind of cool, but we don't really know what it is, and so we'll wait. But then again, Abzu, Pathless, Journey, These are games that always looked weird anyway, especially Journey. It had that odd look to it, but was really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think you'll find the same thing here with Sword of the Sea, whenever that gets around to it. One that I was not expecting, a sequel to Talos Principle. We got our first look at that, and it looks great. It's more Talos Principle, and I am totally down for that. It'll be out sometime this year, so I'm looking forward to it. But again, not exclusive to PlayStation. It'll be on PC and likely on Xbox. Game called, is it Neva? It's from the people who made Gris. And yeah, it'll be out next year, but Gris was a beautiful game that I played it at PAX, I believe, one of the PAXs I played it before it released. And I really, really liked it. Still never bought it, but I really, really liked it. And Neva, whatever this is, looks like it's in the same vein and it'll be just as good. So, got some Cat Quest, the Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay. Moving on. Man, Square Enix jumped into this, and there's a game called Foam Stars. It's like Square Enix is catching up to... It's like, oh, we can do Splatoon as well. And so they did Foam Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
look. What blew up after PUBG?
I know.
A genre that works. Someone's going to imitate it.
We'll see.
It's Splatoon.
I mean, this article here says apparently Square Enix wants to make its own Splatoon-like shooter, but instead of paint and squids, it's anime pop stars and foam. Not much info on this one, but Foam Stars trailer looks fun at least. How long will the servers hang around after release? Basically making a jab at the Avengers game when they took those servers offline.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't know how well this game is going to do. Probably not well enough to keep the lights on for the servers. People who want Splatoon have Splatoon. Mm-hmm. And I don't think this is going to replace that for them. But we'll see. Got another look at the Plucky Squire. This is one that I really enjoyed, at least visually. I don't know about gameplay-wise, because it's 2D and 3D. So when you're on the pages of the book, it's in 2D. But as soon as you step out of when you step out of the pages of the storybook, it turns into 3D, and you're in whatever room this book is sitting in. So I really, really enjoyed. I like that aspect of it, but we'll see. It comes out this year. Again, not exclusive to PlayStation, so there'll be other ways for you to play it. Teardown. This is a game that we saw at, I want to say E3 last year, that I had no interest in until I saw it in this version. Apparently, the version I saw last year, or maybe even years before, I can't remember. Mm-hmm. It's been a while. It was just trucks and cars driving into things. It was very Minecraft graphic looking, like voxel.
Yeah.
And, it was a lot of destruction, environmental destruction. I'm like, all right, that's great. What's the point? You build things and then you destroy them? Is that also the point? Okay, well, that's just not for me. Apparently that's, I guess, not the case. So from what I understand, the game released in early access. A company really liked what that little indie studio was doing and gave them a bunch of money, or just outright bought the IP, and kept the people on and said, okay, we're gonna do more with this. And so now it's like, I feel like it's turned into another heist game. So you've got to break into a place and break out, but the whole object is destruction. How do you break into it to get to where you've got to get to the fastest, and to get your getaway the fastest as well? Very destructible environments. I don't know. I liked what I saw of this trailer for Teardown, and I don't remember seeing anything about this when I originally saw this game like last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I do remember this game, but I just remember being like, that doesn't, yay, you can destroy stuff, but I don't, that doesn't appeal to me. With the way that they were showing it off, it didn't draw.
Yeah, I'm looking at images and videos now. It's like, it looks like Minecraft heists.
Right, yeah, you create something and then yeah, exactly.
So yeah, just in your getaway, just make sure nothing's left behind, which is the ideal way to not leave any evidence. Destroy everything. Get what you want out of there, but destroy everything in the process so you can get away clean.
Yeah. Then we finally got confirmed that they are doing a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. Except they're not calling it Metal Gear Solid 3. They're calling it, for some reason, Metal Gear Solid Delta. The symbol.
Yeah.
Snake Eater. It was a completely CG trailer. Had no release date. So we don't know when it's coming. We did get some more info after this that Kojima's not involved in this remake at all. Why would he be? This is completely Konami's thing.
It's a remake, so we know what's coming.
They're not recasting for the voices, but they're also not redoing the voices either. They're just pulling the audio from the original game.
Pull the audio from the game, yeah.
There's, I don't know.
Technology good enough to fix up anything like that, make it sound more current?
Like, there was rumor of this, and there's been rumor for years of a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. But I was hoping for more effort, maybe. Not necessarily Kojima. I knew they were never going to use Kojima. That bridge is burned.
That bridge is nuked.
It is gone.
Yeah.
So I knew they were never going to do that. But and I was hoping that if they did redo the voices, now given what we're getting, it could have gone worse. They could have redubbed it with people they don't need to be redubbing these things. Kiefer Sutherland comes to mind. Because he's the guy who voiced it for Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
Which was a Kojima thing, by the way. That's on him. But yeah, David Hayter. Get Hayter. Anyway, so they've got him, they got everybody else, but they're not redoing the voices. It's just pulling it from the original game.
Yep.
Which makes me think that there's not going to be any other kind of tweaks. It's just going to be a visual improvement. I'm all for that, but I would also love it to be, hey, we tweaked the controls, or we made something more intuitive, or we've now, I don't know. There's plenty of ways that you can make a better game in many different aspects as far as not just the look of the game. Mm-hmm. You can do a lot of stuff. Shadow of the Colossus comes to mind, where they fixed the controls. But they also had the ability to go back to the original controls, which were kind of janky, a little delayed on the input type thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So straight money grab with minimal effort?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Seems to be the case. Thank you, Thar66, for letting me know about RJ's mic. I've turned it up. Then we got a game called Towers of Agsaba. I don't know. Looked a lot like Zelda. Had some really nice visuals. Has base building, underwater exploration, giant creatures. It has a hang gliding feature for whenever you jump off of tall heights. It has a building feature that looks a lot like Tears of the Kingdom, where you can, grab objects and put them together and make something else out of them type of thing, a crafting element to it.
Another copycat?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. But again, this is not from Square Enix, but if you look at, people who want Legend of Zelda have Legend of Zelda. People who can't have, for whatever reason, Legend of Zelda because they don't have a Switch, well, here you go. Try this. But, yeah. We got another look at Final Fantasy 16. That is still on my radar. It's coming out on June 23rd, but we're really hoping to get us a demo here pretty soon so I can play some of it. But, yeah, it looks really good. Still interested. Alan Wake 2, we got more information from that. It was really nice to see what we got from Alan Wake 2. That looked spectacular as far as the way it looked. Seeing Sam Lake's in-game character was kind of weird. Because they're not changing the way he looks. They're just taking Sam Lake and they're putting him in the game. So yeah, but seeing that was nice. Comes out in October. Again, not a PlayStation exclusive, so it'll be wherever you want to play it. It is interesting to note that it will be completely digital. They are not doing a physical release for this game. It is completely digital, although plenty of people took to Twitter and elsewhere to not complain, but like urge them to do a physical release.
Or let one of the physical disc companies know. Or let one of those other companies know, the ones who make
limited run games, stuff like that.
Or
yeah,
Nicalis or whoever like that. Yeah. If enough traffic gets on the internet, there's a high demand. Hey, we might pull some strings here, get us to make a physical.
We got another look at, we didn't get another look. We got our first look at Assassin's Creed Mirage, the new Assassin's Creed game coming out actually coming out October the 12th. So Assassin's Creed Mirage, it was they called it a gameplay trailer, but it felt more like a CG trailer. There was some gameplay in there, but I would expect to see more about this at Ubisoft's event, which is coming up in the next few weeks. Mm-hmm. We'll get some more stuff about that. That's just to tie that in with the VR stuff from the Meta VR showcase thing. Mm-hmm. The two things that I really wanted to talk about that, one of those was the Assassin's Creed VR version. We got an announcement of it at this Metaverse thing. We didn't get to see any of it, but they did tell us you'll see more about that at Ubisoft's presentation. Mm-hmm. So I'll be looking forward to that. I'm curious to see Assassin's Creed in a VR setting.
Now, see in the article here, it says the game's going to be smaller and more stealth-focused compared to the previous titles.
Right. I'm actually okay with that.
Because I heard that was the biggest complaint about the series lately, is that where's the stealth?
Well, for a lot of people, like when Assassin's Creed Origins came, there were people loved that, and I didn't necessarily like that. It was hard for me to get into. In Origins, and what was the other one that took place in Greece? And then there was Valhalla recently.
Oh.
There was Egypt, Greece, and then there was the Norse versions. Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Thank you, Thar. For all three of those games, I played all three of them. Put time in all three of them, put it that way. It never pulled me in. There was too much going on. They had opened it up, and that's great for some people. That just, for me, I wasn't feeling the Assassin's Creed aspect of that. I jumped from Assassin's Creed Syndicate into Assassin's Creed Origins, and I was okay with it, but man, it made me miss what Assassin's Creed used to be, which was like kind of this streamlined thing. It wasn't necessarily on rails or anything. It wasn't a linear type of game. It was, but in a very loose sense of linear. Mm-hmm. You could go about doing the stuff that you could do, but usually you went in the story of you got to kill these people. In Syndicate, you had options of which direction you wanted to go, of who you wanted to go after. I think they were alluding to some of this open worldness, even going back to Black Flag, when you could be on a ship and go wherever you want. Mm-hmm. But what this looks like, very, very direct, like not a lot of veering off into do other things, which reminds me of what old Assassin's Creed used to be. Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed 1, Brotherhood. That reminds me of what that used to be. And so I'm kind of looking forward to going back to that.
Did those titles you mentioned, did they have that aspect like Hitman did? Like you have a target, but you have multiple ways of taking out that target? Be a little creative in how to take it out?
I think so. I want to say yes. I think. Mm-hmm. But just like in Hitman, just like in Splinter Cell, stuff like this, there were certain limitations on the missions where it's like, okay, you can't be seen while you do this, or you can't get caught while you're doing this or something like that. So there were some aspects. And then I feel like on some there weren't anything like that. You could just walk up, kill the dude, and walk off. I mean, you might get noticed and everything, but as long as you can get away and break you'd get hey, they're out looking for you. As long as you got away from that, and then the suspect meter goes down and you get off the radar, very GTA-ish, then you were fine. So what I miss about Assassin's Creed 1 that I think they got rid of by 2 was you would get this overview of your target. And you would be told, this is where your target's going to be at such and such time. You need to go and survey the area. And so you would go there and like sit down and you'd be able to listen to conversations about when they're going to show up, who they're going to be around, so that you could get more intel about who the person you're looking for is. And then you could focus on them and suddenly, boom, there they are. You would be seeing them in this little square. And you couldn't leave the area. Like it was all red walled off. Once you were in there, you had to stay in there and eliminate your target. If you failed to do that, it would reset with you in that area again and the person coming in, and you had to find the right moment to take out your target stealthily. So I really miss that. There were ways that you could find out where your target's going to be, what their weakness is, what their vulnerability is, that sort of thing. There were so many different ways to learn about who you were going after. And I want to say not Brotherhood, but Assassin's Creed 2 had some aspect of that, but it had really taken it away by Assassin's Creed 2, although 2 was great. 2 is still probably the best in the series for me. 2 and then Black Flag would probably be my order.
And Black had those true stealth elements that 1 and 2 did?
Black Flag didn't. No, Black Flag really, by that time... See, Assassin's Creed 3 left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths because of it was supposed to wrap up a story and it really failed. It did not stick the landing on this massive story that they had built up with Desmond and with the assassins and the first civilization, all these things that they were going into. 3 kind of screwed it up.
So they planned to end it at 3, but someone said, no, we can keep this going.
Yeah, Ubisoft, obviously.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Same as it always is.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. So they stumbled on 3, and then they came back with 4 and did Black Flag, and that maybe it was the setting of pirates and ships and everything else. Maybe it was just that they decided to go this route with it at all, but it was well received. Then I think after that was like Rogue, maybe, or Unity was horrible. Or at least it was at launch. I don't know if it got better. Because I've heard other things saying like Unity's actually pretty good to play now because it's not riddled with bugs. But Unity was the one that took place in Notre Dame.
Okay.
The French Revolution.
Yeah.
Where that one took place. Syndicate I loved. There's probably some more that I'm missing in the old Assassin's Creed stuff. So anyway, moving on with the Sony showcase, we got a thing called Revenant Hill, which looked a lot like Alone in the Woods. At least it's about a cat. Yeah, I know.
Stray. There you go.
Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. That's in the Grand Blue series. I don't know anything about them. Street Fighter 6, they showed off some stuff there. Ultros. It's a action platformer, cartoony looking thing. It's got really trippy visuals. Comes out in 2024. Kind of looked. I was interested in what I was seeing. Dragon's Dogma 2 from Capcom was finally announced. No release date, but I know a lot of people who like Dragon's Dogma, so there you go. Five Nights at Freddy's, Help Wanted 2, that was announced. Then we got the Resident Evil 4 VR mode shown off. Arizona Sunshine 2, which is the VR stuff. Crossfire, Sierra Squad VR. Synapse VR with the voices of David Hayter and I believe somebody else from the Metal Gear series. Beat Saber, the Queen stuff. Again, mentioning all of these, they're not exclusive to Sony's PlayStation VR 2 thing.
Right.
They're going to be on other VR systems. So keep that in mind. Then we got another live service game from Sony, which will be releasing this year, I think. It was the new IP from Bungie, which is actually an old IP. Marathon was announced. In probably what is the best-looking CG trailer of the entire showcase. The best-sounding CG trailer of the entire showcase. From the music to the visuals, this thing was ticking off all the boxes for me as far as the way it looked. Until I looked more deeper into it, and it's an extraction shooter, and I just don't think I'm there with it. It is what is that game, Tarkov or whatever it is? Escape from Tarkov, kind of PUBG-ish a little bit, but not solo.
Escape from Tarkov?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
You know me in words. We don't get along. The longer the word gets, the harder it is for me to pronounce. So, or the more syllables that they put in there, the harder it is for me, I guess. I'm not sure. But anyway.
The more consonants put together.
Yeah. Marathon was announced from Bungie. There was a QR code on one of the images in the trailer that opened up this whole big ARG, this alternate reality thing, where people were looking at, oh my God, there was so much to this that they unlocked, somehow the community unlocked a vid doc so that you could get more information about what Marathon was. But eventually they had to decipher 52 pages of content. They had to collect 52 pages, then decipher the 52 pages of content, which then they found out that the trailer for Marathon had to get 7,777 views to unlock the next thing, which unlocked the video documentary. I love ARGs. I love them. I don't like participating in them because I'm not that brainy to make it happen, but I love finding out about them, and I love seeing the community go to work on them. I really, really do. There was this one, and again from Bungie, I think it was from the Halo days, called I Love Bees. The ilovebees.com or whatever it was. That was a whole situation that was just amazing to see it put together. Love that sort of thing. Not down on this game, but I love that sort of thing. What else do we have? Oh, yeah, we got the teaser for the final shape for Destiny 2.
I like how they put in parentheses and last.
Yeah. Looks like they're bringing Cade 6 back. That was Nathan Fillion's voice.
Did we not see this coming?
Well, it makes... I don't know.
There's been 5 before him.
No, I get it. And I don't know if he's going to be called Cade 7. We don't know any kind of a story yet as to what we're looking at here. We don't know where he's at. We don't know anything. We have no context for why he is back. It's interesting though, and it makes me wonder, and I know, no, I don't know really. Lance Riddick's death was completely unplanned. There was no way for Bungie to know that was going to happen. I don't know if it was written anywhere in the story that they needed to... I don't know what they're doing with that. They do not have him for voice work anymore. I don't know that they want to replace him for voice work. Their whole story may have shifted. I don't know how much of their whole Final Shape story shifted. But they may decide to not... They may have been going with his character in the game as being the leader of the assault of the Final Shape or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He might have been the guy we rally behind for whatever's coming for this final thing. Mm-hmm. But we don't have him anymore. And I don't necessarily know if their plan was always to bring Cade 6 back, or with the loss of Lance, they shifted. Could they have made something like this in the amount of time between his death and putting this together? The teaser is very, very short. I feel like they could. They have all the things they need. They just probably needed voice work to use, which they got that. So I don't know if anything changed because of Lance's passing. And I'm really curious, and I would love to know that. I say I would love to know that. I don't know, it's neither here nor there. I'm just curious because bringing back a favorite like this, not necessarily something they had to do. They had Lance he was the leader of the Vanguard. Mm-hmm. He's your Titan. He's your guy. He goes into the thick of the fight, man. But he's not there anymore, and I don't know what their plan was. Was their plan going to be to recast? Is that going to be their thing to do? Are they going to do something else between now and the end? I believe he's recorded all of his voice lines for this and future seasons, but not for Final Shape stuff. I don't think they got that far with it.
Yeah, well, just pure speculation on my part. Just bring another Titan back. I mean, one of the other Titan backs to take his place.
Well, we got Saint 14. He's a Titan.
Yeah,
and he's there. But like somebody in the core thing, you could use Ikora, I suppose. But bringing back Cade 6, really good. Bringing back Nathan Fillion to voice Cade 6 instead of having Nolan North do a Nathan Fillion. Yeah. Also good to say. Also good to do as well. So I don't know. Things like that, things that shift something when it's unexpected. Sloan?
Yeah. Because
I got a feeling Sloan's going to die. They brought her, look, they didn't kill her off, obviously. They brought her back for this season that's currently ongoing, but they've been dirt-napping characters left and right recently.
Yeah, but with Destiny, it doesn't have the impact. We're so used to them coming back. That's why I said that's why I said when Cade died in the last one, it's like it has no impact. Like I said, there's been 5 before. And he's eventually going to come back because the ghosts, the technology.
Well, to be honest with you, as much as I've been playing that game, I never really thought about him. Obviously, during the whole Forsaken campaign, yes, because that was his death campaign.
Yeah.
But afterwards, as we moved on, you really, I don't know, God, Forsaken, I don't remember what year Forsaken was, but there's been so many more expansions after that, and they've really kind of let him go. They really haven't talked about him or brought him up or anything like that. He might get mentioned a time or two, but it's real quick, and they just keep going. So,
but like I said, just the impact you expect him to come back eventually. There's no lasting end to him. I'm thinking that's the point I'm trying to make. Is like you don't expect his death didn't hit you at all because you expect him to come back anytime. You didn't expect him to come back soon, I guess, but eventually.
Yeah, and I guess
here he is.
For the last thing, sure. Yeah, bring him back. Yeah. We're way behind on a break here, so we're going to take that break, and when we come back, we'll finish off this showcase and what we can get to and some thoughts as well. Here's music from a game that released that is doing horrible. Reviews are in the dump on this thing. Everybody is telling you to avoid it. The devs released a letter saying, we're sorry. We're going to try and fix it. I'm talking about the Gollum game from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I saw some social media posts on there. Oh, they were unforgiving. So
it's bad. It is bad. So anyway, here's the theme from that game. We'll be right back. Welcome back into In-Game Chat. This is music from a game called Planet of Lana. Planetarium Wisdom, maybe, is what that says. It gets cut off. But I tried to play this. It's on Game Pass if you've got it, and I had heard some things about it and said, oh, I'll give it a shot. I really didn't read too much into it. Mm-hmm. I just said, we'll see how it is. It looks like a side-scroller type of thing, kind of quirky, kind of indie.
Yeah.
I was like, let's see what it does. It started off okay. By start, I mean, like, within the first 10 minutes, it started okay. Then it didn't change what it was. It's just that I never read into what it actually was. And it was like a side-scroller stealth thing. And I just was not feeling it. I immediately deleted it from my hard drive on the Xbox.
Side-scrolling stealth horror element or something?
No, not horror. Nothing horror. That was not... So in looking at screens of this game, I thought it was going to be a nice little environmental puzzle type of thing. Mm-hmm. But instead, they threw in aspects like Limbo and what's that other one that they did? That same company. Man, I'm forgetting what it was. Anyway, side scroller with elements of stealth into it, where you had to hide from the machine.
The Limbo with the spider, right?
Yeah. The old Limbo game. Yeah.
Oh, there was one that was instead of black and white, was black and white with a little bit of red in there.
Yes, and I'm trying to remember the name of that thing. I
gotta look it up now. We got the internet sitting right in front of us.
Somebody in the chat room is going to know.
Yeah. By the time I get to it, yeah.
Anyway, when those elements came in, and it didn't take long because that's what the game is built around. Inside, that's what it is. When that hit, I was just like, no, that's not what I was down for environmental puzzles, not 2D stealth crawling thing. Yeah. I wasn't up for that. So
when I hear stealth, I was thinking about either action or horror or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like The Coma or something along those lines. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it did not draw me in. And so I was just like, nope, this is not what I signed up for. Sorry, no, bye. Yeah. Going back to the PlayStation Showcase, we saw Concord. Don't know much about it. It is a PvP shooter from Firewalk Studios. It is another live service type of game. They showed off like 3 live service games: Concord, the Marathon from Bungie, and the Helldivers thing. Mm-hmm. Which is interesting that Sony's going in, I guess, that direction. Or whatever the case may be. Yeah. Not exactly sure how that all works. So, but it's interesting that they're going in that direction. We also got to see Spider-Man 2, a nice 11-minute chunk of gameplay from Spider-Man 2. Mm-hmm. Yay, it looked good. I mean, it didn't excite me or anything because we are expecting it to come out. Yeah. And given what we played in the Miles Morales thing from PlayStation 5, I didn't really see anything that was blowing me away in the looks department. Gameplay wise, it looked like you could go underwater and stuff like that. You could actually be in the water and move. They're building up their set pieces just like we saw in when Uncharted would try to outdo the last thing they did and that sort of stuff. So, I mean, yeah, that game was great. This looks to be just as good. So it wasn't wowing me, which I think that's kind of the takeaway here. Outside of the big surprise they're bringing Cade 6 back from the Destiny thing, there wasn't anything that surprised me. There wasn't anything I looked at and said, I can't wait until whatever that comes out. That's going to move a lot of systems. There was nothing there in that first party category. Now, I forgot to mention, they did show off new PlayStation 5 earbuds. So I guess it's got the technology of their over-the-ear headset, but in an earbud fashion that Bluetooth connects to Bluetooth connects to anything you want it to. Yeah. But they're just PlayStation 5 earbuds. And then they showed off something called Project Q. And by show off, I mean it was just a quick little trailer that showed it off. Basically, it was a PlayStation 5 controller where the middle section of the controller is now a big screen, and you could handheld play PlayStation 5 games on it. But it is only streamable within your own network. This is not a device that I can, like a Switch, where I can bring it with me and play PlayStation 5 games at work. It is only something where you can play PlayStation 5 games streamed from your console to this little controller with a window thing, with a screen thing, over your home internet. Like, it's portable, but not far.
I was going to say Switch Lite, but that's not even light. That's something smaller than that.
It is, yeah.
Much smaller than that, actually.
I mean, it's the screen. I mean, again, we're seeing a CG render thing. The screen looks good. You know, it looks from what they're showing us in this little render thing. Like, if that was portable, wow. But it's not. I'm sure they'll beg the difference. Say, no, it's portable. No, it's not, man. It's portable for me to leave whatever room I play my games in and go to a different room and play them. That's it.
And why would you do that? I mean, this sounds pointless, really.
I don't know. I think there's aspects to it that would work for some people. Well, think about it. You've only got one TV in the house. Maybe you're in a you got a family, but there's only one TV, and that's what your game system's hooked up to. So go play it in the other room if you want to. You know, where time's divided like that. I guess the TV time is divided up. So I don't know. I mean, there's aspects to it that I'm sure wowed a lot of people who said that's perfect for that's exactly what I need. That's perfect for my situation. I imagine that list to be very small, very few, probably not enough to support it. But if they could figure out a way to where it's sure, let it stream off the PS5, but let it stream so that I can play it wherever I want to in good quality.
Yeah.
I mean, they may have something there, but I really doubt it.
What you're describing now doesn't seem worth it.
I know.
It really doesn't.
I know.
You got to have something more than that.
No, I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
I sound like I'm trying to defend it, but I'm really not. It looks really cool. But once you get past the looks to actual functionality of what it does, it's not worth it. And God knows what they're going to charge for this thing. It is ways off, I believe. I don't think it's anything that we're going to see this year. But, yeah. And then, like I said, we got Spider-Man 2 as well. So that was everything at the Sony Showcase. The Sony Showcase? The Sony Showcase with their breakfast bar. That was everything at the Sony Showcase. The only other thing I wanted to bring up about the VR stuff that we were talking about was that the Meta folks released, or at least announced, the MetaQuest 3 releasing later this year. Mm-hmm. It'll be slimmer than the MetaQuest 2. It's going to cost $500. The price of the MetaQuest 2 will drop whenever this releases, so if you've been looking for one, it's still pretty good. It'll be backwards compatible with all the games that you've got on your Quest 2, so everything will carry over. It'll have... the screen resolution will be upgraded a little bit, but you're still not in like really, really good clarity type stuff. I don't know how it matches up to the PlayStation VR 2. I think maybe it's a little bit lower than that, but it's close. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Anything about ease of setup?
It's probably just going to be exactly like what the other one is, which is completely wireless. It's all self-contained.
Okay.
The Quest is all self-contained.
Okay.
So you just turn it on, put it on your head, and then set it up in VR. You know, connect to your network, sign into your profile, all that stuff. It's all in one thing. Okay. You know. So, yeah. There's a lot of stuff we didn't get to. I'm going to try and remember some of this so that we can hold over into next week to get into it. Because, like I said, there's a ton we didn't do. But that is going to do it for us. I want you guys to have a fantastic week. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and iTunes. Go over to our Discord and join us in there and sign up. Well, don't sign up for it. You don't get any kind of notifications. Other than when we go live, you'll get a notification about that. So feel free to do that. And really just thanks so much. We hope you guys have a fantastic week. And that 2 terabyte M2, yeah. Well, that's not the, well, I don't have time to tell you, Lethal. That's not the one I can put in my Steam Deck, right? Just reply in there. You'll get that later. Anyway, here is music from Bramble, the Mountain King. We will see you guys next week. Have a good one.